hopefully we know Tim's going to do just as good a job, if not better. I believe better. That's my opinion. Plus, Tim ain't gay.
So stupid. All right, welcome everybody. This is Jamming Out All Badass, episode 25. If you're counting at home, thanks for hanging out. Tell everybody we're here. Unknown is here already, vomiting all over the place. So, again, my name is Francisco, as you can see on the screen there. Got another interview, a cool interview today with Jason Beck, and we'll bring him on here shortly. So, but before that, just a couple of things. What do you win? Ruby, you always trying to win something. Always trying to win something. Call you, hey, look, Mark Zawickus in the house. Man, we got an all-star lineup. We got Ruben, Ruby, Richard, Dak, dude, thank you so much for those, for that email. Let's put it that way. So that was really cool of you to do that. So anyhow, just a couple things. Let me bring on Fraser's back. Hey, look, Charles is watching. Hell yeah. Back on the show. But you know, he's one little screw up and he's gone again, man. But of course, so if he acts up today, then might be his last time on the show. We'll see. But I got some questions to ask him, so let's bring him on. What's up, dude?
What's going on? How y'all doing out there in the metal community?
Well, what did you go golfing or what? What's up? You just hit the links or what? Shit.
I can't wear my work shirt, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, you haven't been on here in a while, Fraser, but I thought I'd
appreciate it.
Give you you shaved for the show and everything. Holy shit!
I shaved my job, man.
He's straightening out. He's doing good. That's good, Fraser. Maybe I should probably shave too, right? But anyway, so you're always buying CDs all the time. What shit have you bought lately? Have you you got stuff to show us?
This is the latest Hellstar album right here.
Yeah.
And my friend Atwood gave it to me.
Yeah.
And
there you go, right there.
Andrew and Garrett and James and stuff like that. And so cool about it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh, damn it. Just give me a second, bro.
Oh, no. Does it say thanks to Fraser?
I'm trying not to see it.
You're on the thanks list? You're on the thanks list? But it's kind of hard to see, but we'll believe you.
He calls me, Garrett put this. Call me Fraser Baby Doll Dawson.
That's funny.
And
so is it a full album or EP? What is that?
An EP
yeah.
plus a full length. Plus a full length.
Oh, everything on one?
Yeah, because the EP, they do a couple covers, UFO, and I think UFO and Accept, I think. And
hey, Charles says you're on the no thanks list, not on the thanks list. You're on the no thanks list.
What about the dead horse shit?
Easy. Calm down, Fraser. All right, what else you picked up?
A new Assassin.
Wait, what? Assassin's still around?
Yeah, there's a new one.
Oh, well, obviously. We're talking about the German Assassin, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So are they still playing thrash, I guess?
19. I tried to get Kurt to get it, but he couldn't get it.
Oh, man.
And but I got it and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. I didn't know Assassin was still around. What else? What is that? Anatomia? Look at you trying to be all heavy.
Japanese autopsy clone.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, badass, man.
Yeah, that's good stuff, dude. The heavy shit. What else you got? What is that?
Soul.
Frozen Soul?
Yeah, it's like a bolt thrower clone from Dallas.
Yeah.
So
those are the newest. Those you just got those recently?
a few of them. The Hellstar have for months.
Oh, okay.
And
what else? What else? Go ahead. What else?
I got an English band.
Imagine that.
Band from England from the 80s.
Well, English. Oh, hold on. An English band can't be from England. You're lying already.
Hell no, it's a crust band.
There you go. Figure that out already. Hell Bastard?
Yes.
Holy shit. I didn't know you jammed out Hell Bastard.
It's a reissue and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that band put out an album on Earache Records a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's crusty punk band from
What? Look at Fraser.
England and stuff like that. It's been out since '88 and stuff.
Hey, whatever you do, make sure you keep showering. Don't turn into a crust punk just because you're listening to Hell Bastard.
Not like Eric. Remember Eric?
make sure you keep up with your hygiene, Fraser. Everybody would appreciate that. He listened to Hell Bastard one time and he never takes another shower.
I do like a little bit of crust punk and stuff like that.
I know.
I got a question for Jason when he gets on, man.
Okay, well, hold on. Who says I was going to let you ask him a question? You're jumping ahead. Who's running the show here, buddy?
You.
I asked you the questions. Now, anyway, so that's cool. If anybody is into what Fraser just bought, comment about it. If you think all the CDs he bought sucks, go ahead and tell him it sucks. He doesn't care.
Frozen Time is a badass bolt thrower clone, and from Dallas.
So which one of those have you listened? Which one of those four was your favorite?
I like all the bands because I like.
Fraser, I swear you're like a politician. I can't get you.
I like Hellstar a lot, man.
I know you do. That's all I wanted to hear you say.
That old Mexican Dio and shit.
I somebody told me you didn't name a Mexican Dio. Somebody else did. I think you're lying.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, all right. Anatomia, yeah, that's good shit. All right, so I got a photo that that has you in it that I need to. Ruby says hi, Fraser.
Hey.
I need everybody that's to. We got to figure out what the hell's going on right here, Fraser. Look at this shit. What is this? Do you not know how to? Do you not? I know you don't. Do you not know how to put a belt on anymore? What's going on? That belt.
Oh my God!
Look at that belt, dude.
My fat ass and shit. That's me and Dave, man.
I know who that is, but don't worry about Dave. I'm trying to cut Dave out so he's not embarrassed. But your belt is going around your skin, not your belt, Luke Fraser.
I didn't see that picture. I saw it. I was, oh my God! But
so anyway, were you in a hurry, or you just never learned how to put a belt on right? What's going on? Explain yourself.
I didn't put my belt over my. I just put it over my pants. I didn't even stick it in the loops.
Oh, obviously.
No, it's a funny picture, man.
Yeah, it's great, dude. I mean, I know I can show it because you got a sense of humor.
You got to one of these days, man.
Anyway,
what's going on?
All right, so yeah, Ted said you were looking to get some action, dude. What's up with that?
Action from Dave now.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that was at the Wolf Skull show, right?
Yes.
Cool.
That's the CD poster came out that day. But
all right, so speaking of shows, let's see if you get it right this time. So, if let's say I want to go see Dork Angel play. Let's say Dork Angel is going to play a live show. Is there anywhere I can go on the internet where I can find out where Dork Angel is playing?
Yes.
Where am I going to go?
Texas Metal Concerts.
That's right.
Texas Metal Concerts.
That's right. All right. So we got
there's a girl named Rosalinda.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad you mentioned that because she just happens to be right here joining us to talk about Texas Metal Concerts real quickly. So let's everybody welcome her to the show. Hello, Rosalinda.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Did you like Fraser's plug there?
Yes, thank you. I was about to fire him.
Yes. Don't be one of those. Don't be one of those people that gives me like 1 word, 2 word answers. It gets me. If Fraser can say more than 10 things. So hey, look, you got fans already. Look at there.
Hey, Dana.
Ruby.
I love you, Ruby.
Getting more love than Fraser did. That's for damn sure. Anyway, so you've heard me mention Texas Metal Concerts a lot on the show with Fraser. So Rosalinda is the one that actually runs that site, does everything with it. It's a really good site to go for any shows in Texas, basically. So So one thing, Brian Adams, the hell. So when we go to the site, what do we see on the site when we go to the txmetalconcerts.com? What do we find?
When you go to the site, you're going to see all the concerts from anywhere in Texas, any bands that are coming through Texas. I tried as much as I can to get the details, the website for the venue, ticket links, opening acts, cover charge. If there's an age restriction, I try to put that too. If your show's not listed and you're in a band, reach out to me and let me know what's going on. The email address is available on the website. It's the most comprehensive website in the state of Texas. So I appreciate everybody's support if you like. And subscribe on the, we have a YouTube channel as well. I put any live shows that I go to, I try to film a couple songs here and there. I put it on the YouTube. I have a Facebook page as well. So feel free to like and join.
Hell yeah. So let's say I'm going to go look for a specific band. So can I just go in there and is there a search engine where I can type Dork Angel in there and it'll take?
There is a search. There's a search bar at the top. You can search by city, venue, and band.
Wow, that's crazy. So obviously it's if Fraser and I can go on this website and navigate through it, most of you should be able to as well.
It's smart mobile device friendly too.
Yeah, very user friendly. Type Dork Angel and it's gonna actually if you type in Dork Angel, the website automatically like laughs at you, I think. Or Barry Manilow. So it's mostly like metal stuff or
any rock and roll, hard rock, heavy metal, extreme metal, underground metal, cover bands, original bands, labeled bands, unlabeled bands, anything that falls under heavy metal.
Awesome. That's awesome. Fraser, you have any questions or comments for her about have you been on that website, Fraser? Lie if you have to. Have you been on the website?
Okay, like Larry's band from Hellstar posted playing in San Antonio, but the show got canceled.
Right.
I'm talking about that. I can't.
Santa Oscuridad.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
I'm a white man. It's better.
Yes.
Okay, you do put canceled on there too, right?
Yeah, I have canceled and postponed for certain dates because of COVID and whatnot. So they'll be listed as canceled or postponed.
Saw that. Awesome. Like there's a band coming off you know about, you probably do. Transmetal.
Yes, they are. They're hitting San Antonio, Houston, and Austin.
Look at there. So
no, Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas.
So if any shows in Texas, you're gonna find them. Again, if you're in a band and you're watching this live or on the replay, hit up the website txmetalconcerts.com and your show will get added on there. People do email and get their stuff added to the show. So
yes, I get a lot of messages.
Awesome.
You send me all the details. I will be more than happy to post it as long as it falls under their heavy metal umbrella.
That's it. Awesome. Cool. Well, appreciate you coming on and letting us know about it. And
thank you. Appreciate it.
Everybody go check out TX Metal Concerts
Don't be a puss.
Oh my God. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say bye, Fraser.
Later.
Bye, Fraser.
Later.
All right. So that's cool. Go check that out. Let me get rid of that. All right, Fraser. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring Jason on. So if you want to hang out for a little while, I'll bring you back later if you want to ask him a question.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him a question, man.
All right. So hold on to your questions and we'll get to them. We'll bring you back later.
Okay.
All right. All right. Awesome. All right. So cool. So my guest today is Jason Beck. I've been posting about it all over the interwebs. Been involved in the Houston underground scene since way back 80s. He's been in bands, Spinal Remains, Tumorhead, his zine GODVOMIT. I believe he did 4 issues of it. Had a lot of way back doing cool interviews, did stuff with Impetigo, you name it. And also he was still is a radio DJ, does a show called DEADTHYME in Houston on KPFT. And he was also part of the Sweet Nightmares program, which is the first time I heard him was way back in probably 90, 91 or something like that. So anyway, everybody, actually Jason's been on the show with me before on the Accused episode, but I thought it'd be cool to have him on and talk about some Houston stuff and whatever else we can think of. So anyway, everybody, welcome Jason. What's up, Jason?
What's up?
You doing all right?
I'm doing good.
What'd you think of Fraser's new purchases?
Boom.
Catching up?
Yeah. It's Fraser, right? I don't know if he actually listens to any of this stuff. I think he just buys it. But if any of that stuff sounded good, like whenever he's talking about it, Francisco, give his address. You can go over there and pick it up from him. Just let yourself in with a brick. And
Yeah. He I always ask, so what's your favorite? I like it all, man. Okay, Fraser. Is there anything you don't?
And if Mark is listening, I just want to say I just reached down here beside me in my box of zines.
Oh, look at there, Mark.
Pulled out my Uniforce, yeah.
Let me put you solo. Show that again.
I've actually got every issue of Uniforce. I've got a whole box of zines here. Fratricide, man, gotta love them.
Fratricide, oh yeah, from
he did an interview with Fratricide.
Nobody else did an interview, did they? That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Mark,
yeah.
he was hanging out in here. I'm sure he's there. So that's awesome because I know you interviewed Impetigo way back when too. So
the first issue of GODVOMIT.
You go back.
I did 9 issues of GODVOMIT.
There he is. Holy Grail. So yeah. Mark's hanging out. Ruben says to burn those zines, of course.
Ruben.
You know Ruben. Unknown asshole.
Of course I know Ruben.
And we'll get into Ruben later on. There's a story involving Ruben that everybody needs to hear because it's amazing. Watchtower. Was Watchtower on that too?
I believe they were.
Richard, that. There you go. Good eye, Richard. What's up,
man? I used to love zines so much, man. I got, like I say, a whole damn box of them. Yeah, what's that? Got Cascade. I don't even know what that is. Morbid.
Oh wow, Morbid Mag. Yeah. I mean, you didn't throw anything away.
That's a newer one. Oregon. Yeah, I didn't. Some of these are horror movie zines. It's that New Reality. I got boxes of zines here. I used to be the zine dude, man. I love zines. Actually, one of the zines I did was a zine that reviewed other zines. So it was called Brain Snot. Well,
since we're on the topic of that, I was going to bring it up later, but we'll go ahead and delve into GODVOMIT. First issue. What year was the first issue?
91, I believe.
91.
I did a zine before GODVOMIT called Hate Filled. I only had a few issues, like 2 issues of that, and then I turned it into GODVOMIT. And first issue was like 80 pages. It was too big. And it was, Yeah, it was huge.
Like a
Huge,
short
man.
story.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd had interviews with, there were a lot of bands in there, like Mortician and Winter and Therion. That was back before, I don't know, back before a lot of those bands were known.
Right.
I had an interview with The Accused in it, that first issue.
Nice.
With Tommy, actually. And bunch of local bands, Dead Horse, Splatteria, Social Deceit was in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Of course, Hideous Manglius was in it. I got their demo and loved that demo, man. And so I sent him an interview, and he did it. And see, Paul Ramirez blames me for bringing Sam Biles to the Houston crowd. Because Paul did some art for my zine, so I gave out my zine to a bunch of Houston people, the old grind crew, the Splatteria guys, and all.
This one right here?
That's it. Yep, that's the first one. And Paul was like, Paul said, this is your fault that we're all dealing with Sam and his moon boots now.
All right, let me zoom in, and so this was the first.
Nunslaughter was in it.
Nunslaughter, Gut Wrench, what?
Gut Wrench, yep.
Kind of hid the bands.
I hid the logos. You'll see on there
Social Deceit. Hideous Manglius. So anyway, the top makes me laugh. If you are easily offended or can't handle intense sickness and depravity, don't buy this zine. So
and they're in there somewhere. You might see on the right side there. I've hidden the Carcass. I wrote Carcass. Carcass was supposed to be in the first zine because I used to write to Jeff Walker back whenever he did Phoenix Militia zine. I've got one of those around here too. That was back when he did the art. He was in the Electro Hippies. He did Phoenix Militia, and he did the art for Napalm Death. And I used to write him. He was really cool. So the first Carcass album came out, and he sent me like a tape that had a couple of, their demo tape. You couldn't really tell how great their band was going to be from their demo tape. That flesh ripping Sonic Torment demo. So he sent me a tape that had some tracks from the advanced tracks from the Rika Putrefaction. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I couldn't find it. No one had that record when it came out. So I like no distributions, no local record stores. I had to call Hog Wild Records. I was like, I will send you guys money. How much do I need to send you to mail me this record? I had to send them like $25 to mail me the first Carcass album. This is back when I was like very young. I was a teenager. I didn't have much money. Yeah. And so they sent me that record. And then I kept writing to Jeff. I was like, Jeff, this record is fantastic, blah, blah, blah. And he kept writing back. He was real cool. And then one day, whenever I seen the interview, he wrote me back after that. I don't know if I pissed him off with my stupid questions I asked or what.
Or they became kind of
too big,
too cool, maybe. So what you mentioned? So what was the zines that made you want to do a zine?
Well, there was the dude that does Listenable Records. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Laurie Merle or something like that.
Oh,
he did a zine. Yeah, he did a zine called USD, and I loved that zine. And then he changed the name to Pear Drop. Yeah. I do have a Pear Drop around here. I have a USD around here somewhere too. I'm not going to dig through my zines and make y'all wait for that. But those zines were fantastic. I love those zines. And Slayer zine, I loved. I have several of those. I actually bought the book that compiles all the Slayer zines, but I have about 4 actual original issues of Slayer too. But there were a ton of zines. I got zines left and right. Of course, I used to read Maximum Rock and Roll. I got to write for them for a while, all throughout most of the 90s.
Did you really?
Yeah, and at the very beginning of the 90s, back in the 80s, Maximum Rock and Roll used to put their demo reviews in with their album reviews. And they announced somewhere around the early 90s that they were going to quit doing demo reviews and just completely stop it. And that I was like, what the hell? So I called them. No, actually, I wrote them a letter. And I was like, this is stupid. The demos are the underground. I was like, zines are like the veins of the underground scene, and demos are like the blood. I was like, so I suggested that why don't I write a column? Because they had columns back then, but none of them were music columns, except maybe Pussheads was a kind of a music column. But most columns, they just wrote things they thought about,
Yeah.
So I said, why don't I do a column for you guys and just do demo reviews in the column, and it won't be mixed in with all your record reviews. And Tim was like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. So I did demo reviews for Maximum Rock and Roll for about probably like 91 to about 99 until Tim died. Tim died in 98. I quit about 99. After Tim died, in the 90s, they were always accused of being really politically correct, and the punk police, they weren't that bad in the 90s. They got pretty bad in the 2000s. And,
yeah, for sure.
And with some of that punk police stuff. But yeah, I wrote demo reviews for them.
This is second issue, right? Who did so Paul did the art on the first one. What about this one?
He did the back page art. I did most of the art in it. Charles Styles, Bizarre Charlie, did some art for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nick Forte from the band Rorschach. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah,
he did some art.
Yeah, I heard them on your show way back.
Yeah. He did some art. Just various people in the scene. Underground scene was just like, I'll send you art and I'll put it in. But a lot of the art and stuff I just stole from comic books or movies or whatever. I mean, most of the art that's on the cover there was just stuff I stole from something. Yeah. I mean, that's the zine. Basically, that zine was made to be complete and total chaos. I mean, there was no theme. The interviews, the reviews, everything was completely all just mixed together. Actually, this is an issue that I did not put up on. Yeah. I have the first 4 issues put a scan and put up on a website that you can go look at. Postmodern Trashyology. This is an issue I hadn't scanned and put up yet, but just to see, this is like, it's total chaos. There's no rhyme or reason to anything. There's the second Hideous Minglius interview I did. But yeah, I mean, there's a Samael interview. We got Impaled Nazarene in this one. Doom is in this one. Deformed Conscience. So it was punk and metal both in my zines. Yeah, probably the biggest band I ever interviewed was either the Accused or the Dayglow Abortions.
That's cool. Here's the third issue. I just want to run through
the third one, yeah.
Because they're I really like all the covers on these, so I think it's kind of a lost art nowadays, I guess. I mean, there's still stuff out there, but the time and effort it took to do these things, and have to type everything out, right? You had a typewriter?
Yeah, well, not only I used a computer and a typewriter, but not only did I type it out with mine, I would type it out and I would cut on a lot of them, I'd cut each line, and glue it on so that it would be like this Deformed Conscience interview. You can see that's not just typed. I cut each line out.
Oh yeah, I remember that method. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of angle it or whatever, make it look artistic, sort of.
Glued them, yeah, just glued them on there.
Yeah. Yep.
And different, but yeah, that's so like the Doom interview.
That's awesome.
I interviewed Stick. I asked him how the Sore Throat song "Stick's Underwear" came from. He said it was just whenever they didn't have us. When Sore Throat didn't used to have song titles, they would just get on stage and make up song titles on stage, and they were like, what do we want the next song to be about? And someone's like, Stick's Underwear, and they're like, all right, this song is Stick's Underwear, and that's how that song came to be.
Damn, that's great. So let's go to what's the next one? Then obviously you did 4 issues.
No, I did 9 issues.
9 issues? Well, you only sent me. You only sent me 4. So
some of them I don't have anymore. I don't know what happened to some of them, and a lot of them I didn't. Yeah, that was actually the cover that got screwed up. It got messed up, so that is a sketch of the cover before it was completed. But yeah, that was the cover.
I always like all the notes that you anyone offended will be laughed at. That's, that's funny shit.
That
Plus
was the
the
one I
usual.
did an interview with the Paintings in. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, and Schismopathic. I did an interview with Schismopathic from their demo. They just came out with a new album that's pretty damn good at grinding.
So who's Jesus Exercise?
I didn't even know they were Jesus Exercise. Yeah.
This is interesting. You got Mystifier, Paintings, Isengard. Isengard
Yep.
from that's Fenris.
Yeah. That was back whenever, yeah. Time Ghoul, yeah. So Jesus Exercise. This is a band, I believe this featured members of that old Swedish band Dom Dar, who I liked a lot. They came out with this. It's only 3 songs. It's kind of grungy punk with a female vocalist. It's really good, really, really good, but no one's heard of them. But so I did an interview with them.
There you go. The only interview in existence, probably.
I'm sure someone else did. Yeah. I did an interview with this band, with a lot of those bands that never went anywhere, but that's cool though.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back as far as music. When or how did music first come into your world? Growing up, what kind of stuff was playing around your house before you were like able to like, make up your own mind as to what you want to listen to? What kind of stuff did you hear growing up?
Well, my mom and dad, they were kind of not exactly hippies, but they that's what they liked, was that kind of stuff. Like my mom was a huge Beatles fan. My dad liked Hendrix, and they liked stuff like that. But I was born in the 70s, and so really just whatever was on the radio. So just a lot of garbage. Sky, Rockets in Sight, crap like that. That was what I heard growing up. That might have been what demented me so much, was that, was having to listen to that. I mean, you've got, I lived through the 4 bands of the bad rock apocalypse, man. Foreigner, Journey, REO Speedwagon, and Air Supply. If those 4 bands were just blown up before they got started, I would have been very happy. I mean, that's just some horrible shit there that I had to live through. And it made me the man I am today.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
now Fraser's come on. Fraser's kind of come on and be like, "Oh, bitch, Foreigner's all bad."
Well, I mean, I'd like a couple of REO Speedwagon songs from like 70s, but we won't get into that. Back when they were back when they were heavy, man. Back when they were heavy. Back when REO Speedwagon was heavy, man. So how did you transition from or get into like extreme music? What was the I guess your gateway? Did you discover it on your own, or did you have somebody that you kind of looked up to?
Well, really, it was Billy Idol. I got into Billy Idol.
Wait, you're talking shit about REO Speedwagon, and then you bring up Billy Idol? Come on, man.
Billy Idol. Whenever I was very young, and I went and saw him play at Astroworld.
What? What year was that?
Yeah.
What year was that?
81, maybe 80. I don't know. I was a kid. I was really young. I went and saw him play at Astroworld, and there were these other kids that I went to school with that were older, and I thought Billy Idol was punk. You're a kid in the late 70s and early 80s. You don't really know what punk is. I mean, the mainstream thought punk was Cyndi Lauper, of course, and ridiculous stuff like that. But I thought, well, Billy Idol, I guess that's punk, and some older kids were like, that's not punk, that's they're like, he used to be punk, but he's not punk anymore. He's a poser. And so you need to listen to some good stuff. And that's kind of how I got into the good stuff. Is they made me a tape. One of these kids made me a tape with some stuff on it.
Yeah.
Suicidal Tendencies was on it, and that first Suicidal Tendencies was just, life changing to a little kid. That first
Right.
show I saw, people, it's so overplayed. It's so overplayed now. People don't realize how
Well, yeah,
badass
but
it was back then.
listening to "I Saw Your Mommy and Your Mommy's Dead" as a kid, I'm sure that had a fucking effect on you.
Or I Shot Reagan.
Oh,
Somebody I shot Reagan. Back in you're like, whoa, like, wow.
Yeah,
But at the
exactly.
same time as that, I was also getting into some bad heavy metal stuff. Like those early, they weren't quite glam yet. They were heavy metal bands that still had some bite before they did the glam bands, like the early, like Dokken and some of that Motley Crue and Rat. Some of those back whenever they actually did power chords before they got into all that Home Sweet Home and stuff. I like some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
And I found Maximum Rock and Roll magazine is what happened. Because I don't remember how I found it. I found it at a record store, and I bought one. And on it had Jello Biafra. So I knew I liked the Dead Kennedys. One of those bands I liked then a lot. Like when I was first getting into it.
Yeah.
And Jello Biafra used to write for Maximum Rock and Roll, and Maximum Rock and Roll, they would post their top 10s of the things that have come out. And Jello Biafra put on his top 10 Venom. I don't remember if it was Welcome to Hell or Black Metal. It was a Venom album. And I was like, oh, and I saw that album at Hastings in Greenspoint Mall. Back whenever you could go to Greenspoint Mall and not get shot.
When it was safe.
I used to so I went to Greenspoint Mall, and there was a Venom tape, and I bought it. And I was just like, whoa, this is whoa, holy fucking shit. What is this, And no more Motley Crue for me after that, pretty much. I was like, oh, God, And so, they had magazines. There were no good magazines back then, but they had shit like Hit Parader and Circus. Remember those magazines back in the 80s? So they had, in the back, they would have ads for distributions. And distributions was called, most of the distributions sucked. One of them was called, I think it was called Metal Disc.
Yeah.
And I used to order shit from Metal Disc distribution all the time. An old invoice from Metal Disc where I bought the first Carnivore album and The Accused, More Fun Than an Open Casket Funeral. And they wrote on it coming out 2 months, Concrete Socks. Whoops, sorry, Vicar, because I'd ordered the earlier Concrete Socks, so they saw that and they'd handwritten it on there telling me that the new Concrete Socks was coming out. So that's how I found out about shit like that. Was just through, back then it was just through happenstance. There was no internet, there was nothing, you just happened to run across shit.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, everything was new, right? So it was.
Yeah. Then later on, I did start discovering zines and writing to people, and trading tapes and all that.
So
doing my own zine.
Yeah, going back to your zine briefly. Was there anybody? Did you ever? I'm sure you had plenty of people that didn't write you back or were you pretty lucky with everybody that you requested an interview from?
Mostly people wrote back. There were some that didn't.
Anybody you want to tell a big fuck off to right now that didn't write you back? Write you back?
I can't think of anybody that didn't write me back. There were some that were a lot cooler than others. Victor Crowley was really cool. He sent me a whole bunch of shit. And this is before I put the first zine out. I just wrote to a bunch of bands that I saw in zines and said, hey, I'm putting out a zine. And Victor Crowley sent me all this Acheron stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, here's this. It's cool. I know you're a kid. You don't have any money. You can't afford this stuff. Here's some tapes. And that was really cool.
Awesome.
He was really cool. I forgot. There were a lot. Tony from Fatal sent me a bunch of stuff, Fatal stuff. He's the one that I got in trouble with.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that.
We'll talk about that, yeah. But yeah.
That's cool, man.
I mean, I had different people that I wrote to more than others. Ty, who was in the band Resist.
Oh, yeah.
Namland? He passed away.
Namland, yeah.
Yeah, Namland, yeah.
Poison Planet, right?
Yep, Poison Planet, yeah. Wrote to him. There were a bunch. You know, we used to write all kinds of. We used to write people all the time. Joe from Bolt Thrower used to write me some.
Oh, really?
Who else? Yeah. Oh, how could I forget Euronymous? Used to write to him. He wrote. I've got a bunch of letters from him.
Was he?
I remember I wrote the
begging?
first time. Was he what?
Was he begging for free shit? Because
what? He was telling me. I heard that they were going to put out a Blasphemy album. This is before Blasphemy came out with an album. They just had their demo tape.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're going to put out a Blasphemy album. I was like, I sent him a list of black metal bands. I was like, these are the bands that I have of that I think would be badass. And two of them were Blasphemy and Master's Hammer, which I only had the finished demo. One of my favorite demos of all time, Master's Hammer. So he wrote me back and he's like, yeah, we're going to put out albums by both of them, which of course was probably bullshit. And
yeah, of course.
And on Death Like Silence, and he's like, but hey, I have one of his records. I forgot, probably the Merciless. He was like, would you like to distribute it for me in the U.S.? I'll send you 10 copies for this much money. And I was like, nah, I don't. You know, I didn't trust him really, and I didn't have that kind of money to send to someone anyway. So he wrote me back, and he's like, well, we're not going to do a Blasphemy album, but that means that there's more of a chance of us doing a Master's Hammer album. And so I wrote to him for a little while, and then it just kind of fell off, you know, or maybe he got killed.
And then his letters just stopped arriving for some reason, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's cool, man. So where was I going next?
I need to digitize some of that. I still got those letters. I need to digitize some of that shit and put them up for people to look at. People are fascinated with that stuff nowadays. You know, back then it was no big deal, but people like to look at that stuff now.
Actually, you know what? We'll stay on the zine thing. This is from Compilation of Death, or what is that on? What is that from? They featured GODVOMIT.
Yeah. That's the Compilation of Death zine. Book. Yeah. I think they also put up some of my interviews that I did. I know. I sent him my autopsy interview that he said he wanted to put in that book. I never got a copy of that book though.
Well,
so I don't know what all he put in there.
Let me remove that damn picture then. Yeah,
it's cool. That's okay. That book was like $30 or something. So I can understand him not sending me one.
That's kind of the unwritten rule, though. That's kind of the unwritten rule, though. You know, if I give you something, you at least give me a fucking copy, right? So. But yeah, that's actually Joe Pupo said he wrote some stuff for him too. The guy I had on, he was from Rage Records, So
Rage, the Ex Mortis 7-inch, I got that.
Yeah, exactly, like Ex Mortis, Revenant, and all that shit. Cool. So let's move on to. I guess you started a band called Spinal Remains. You and
well, they were called Morbid Scum.
Morbid Scum.
You know, we started off as actually the first band was for children. First thing I did, and it was basically a rip-off of Septic Death and Crippled Youth. If you mix bands together, that's what it was, or it was supposed to be. It didn't sound near that good. Because Crippled Youth, that 7-inch, and Septic Death's album, those two things were like my favorite things whenever I was doing that, man. I was like 14 or 15, or I don't know. I was really young when I did that. It was awful. And then Morbid Scum was after I got the Legion of Death album, and I was like, I want to sound like this. So Morbid Scum sounded I was trying to sound kind of like Legion of Death.
But it didn't,
because I wasn't anywhere. I went, and so then it changed. I was like, Morbid Scum, everybody is called, something like that. So I changed the name to Morbid Remains. And then I was like, well, everybody's called Morbid something now. So I would change it to Spinal Remains. I don't know where I came up with that name from. And then later on, someone's like, oh, that's a Misfits song. I was like, oh, shit, that is a Misfits song. We don't sound anything like the Misfits.
No.
I knew the Misfits song, but that's off of Legacy of Brutality, which I didn't. That's one of my least favorite Misfits. I never really liked that one that much. I had it, like some songs on it, but I like it, but it's not one of my favorite Misfits things. It's probably it's like their evening punk album. But
then
I mean, it has some good songs on it. But
you ended up with
but
Spinal
yeah,
Remains. And where did you
Yep.
guys record that?
Texas Music Studio, I think. It was someplace, I believe either Sal or Paul recommended it. I think Flatteria recorded one of their demos there. And I think that Sal was like, yeah, this is a cool place.
Yeah.
Was it called Texas? I think it was Texas Music Studios. Wait,
I thought Flatteria recorded. I thought Flatteria recorded at Saturn.
Maybe it was Saturn. It might have been Saturn. It was wherever Splatteria recorded one of their demos, because Sal is the one who recommended it to us. It was way out, like maybe Texas City, something like that. It was right on the other side of Houston from me. But,
yeah. So here's a cover of it. So it was talk a little bit about about the band, about kind of what you guys were trying to do at the time, and everybody that's in the band or whatever. Obviously you and Jason and Paul, but just speak a little bit about the band.
Well, it was me and Jason Eckhart. I met him at some party in the Woodlands. He was a Woodlands kid, and I met him at like some party or something like that, and we figured out that we both liked Cryptic Slaughter and the Accused. And so, whenever you met someone back then that liked Cryptic Slaughter and the Accused, you're like, oh, hey, you're cool, And so we made friends and started to do this band. And I guess, I don't know, I can't say it. I guess I probably wrote about 60% of the music, 65 maybe. Mostly more, he played guitar. I played bass a little bit and did vocals. But he would come over and I would be like, okay, do a part that goes like this, and then he would do it. That's how we wrote those songs. So everybody, whenever the demo came out, we were compared highly to Carcass for some reason, even though we sounded nothing like Carcass.
Nothing like it.
And but everybody's like Carcass, and I'm like, okay, what I was trying to do, I was trying to sound like Septic Death crossed with Legion of Death and a little bit of Carnivore. That was because I was writing those songs when I was like 15, 16. And they're not really that good, truthfully, but they were what I wrote. And so and they got, I guess they got heavier over the years a little bit, especially whenever Paul came in. So Paul Ramirez, drummer of Splatteria, Pablo on the demo, he came in and he wanted to play it faster. And so I was like, okay, we can play some of these faster, So some of the songs we did a little bit faster because he was the fast dude. He's the grind dude.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's one song that him and Jason wrote together. I didn't have anything to do with. That was other than I wrote the lyrics and the vocals. That was A Vivisectionist. Him and Jason got together and wrote that song. But him and Jason mostly practiced together. And then I would come in. The three of us probably only practiced together maybe twice or three times before we recorded that demo. Him and Jason practiced together a few times.
Oh yeah.
So me and Jason wrote most of the songs. And then him and Jason wrote The Vivisectionist. And then we went to the studio and kind of ran through the songs and we played them, and that was the demo.
How long did it take? Do you remember?
To run through the songs and then play them again?
Yeah, no, to record them in the studio. How long did the session take? Like to record
it wasn't
that
long.
Like
it was
half
maybe,
a day?
No. It's probably like about 45 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
So everything
it might have been
one
take?
It
might have been like 4 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. I did the vocals later. They did the music first, and then we did the music first, and then I did the vocals later.
Right.
And there is bass on it. There's no bass written down on there. There is bass on it. Jason Eckhart made this cover, as you can tell, since his name is first and his address is first, and he forgot to write bass. But and then he became a Christian, and didn't want to have anything to do with death metal and grind or anything anymore later on. But yeah.
So all right, so I got a let's listen to a little bit of it.
We okay.
I got a song queued up. It's I can't remember which one I picked, but it's queued up now, and let's listen to a little bit of it. We'll all check it out, and then we'll talk a little more about it because there's going to be it's supposed to be being reissued for people. So let's check out. See if you remember what song it is just by listening to it. See how well you know your own shit.
All right.
There you go. What song was that? I'm putting you on the spot.
That was Theocratic Zombies.
There you go. Theocratic Zombies. Yeah, so that tape is gonna be available. There's a label called Tenebrous Aberrations that's in like South Texas that is supposed to be kind of reissuing that here sometime this year. So it's so it'll be available. Anybody wants like a physical copy of it, you can check it all out on YouTube now. But it's gonna be reissued, like I said, by Tenebrous. You want to talk a little bit about that? You got any info on that, or have you heard anything about that?
I will say this: the version that's on YouTube is not the same version that's not the actual demo. That's the rehearsal for the demo.
Oh shit! Okay, so there you go.
What happened was we pressed, I don't know, maybe 300. It was over 300 copies of that tape, but for some reason, Jason accidentally put the rehearsal on some of them, like a small amount of them, like maybe 75 of them, and I guess who put the video up, I don't know, is somebody that got the rehearsal instead of the actual demo. So the one that's coming out on cassette's the actual demo, which it doesn't sound different. I mean, we played the songs and then we played them again, and so the second take was better than the first take. So that's what the demo was. But the songs are like on that rehearsal. The songs are they're not really put together the way they're supposed to be. Like the first two songs are supposed to be together song. And on that rehearsal, we didn't play them together. Well, demo. So it's a little bit. It's going to be for that rehearsal. Then the demo is going to be a little bit different. A little bit, not much.
Yeah. I mean, but you get an idea. It's it's going to be on tape, I think, Fraser. Right?
We did what? I think I think that's what she told me. I sent her the tape and stuff. And I mean, I was like, well, if you want to put it out, here you go.
Hey, it's cool, man. I mean,
I was like, I don't know if anyone will be interested, but here you go.
nah, I mean, I think so.
We did a lot of interviews in old zines. We got good reviews in the old zines and stuff. Kind of surprised me. A lot of interviews and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how well it stands up today, but maybe it does.
Yeah. So you how many? You said you managed to play like once or twice live.
One time,
and it was
one
it was
single
that
time, and it wasn't anyone that was on that demo played on it. Oh no, that's wrong. Wait, that's wrong. Okay, it wasn't going to be anyone on it. Okay, Hinkle set that show up for us.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be the St. Valentine's Day Massacre at the Axiom.
Yeah,
It was just like 2 days before Gigi Allen was going to play there. It's like, oh, we're playing a couple days before Gigi Allen. Let's see if we can mess this place up worse than he does. And the dudes, they told me we did, because the guys, it was some friends of mine, because I had lost touch with Jason Eckhart. I thought that I knew he was getting religious, and he kind of quit writing me and stuff. And so Billy, we bring Billy into the band. He was going to be guitarist, and he was learning the songs and stuff. And he set the show up, and then Jason shows up, and he's like, I heard about this show, and I was like, well, yeah, man, you're an original member, you can play. And I was like, but we're gonna have another guy playing guitar too, so it's gonna be 2 guitars. He's like, okay, cool. And he left. He went back he was in College Station. He was going to A&M, so he went back to A&M. When he shows back up the night of the show, and he comes in, and Billy was on stage, and he's like, who are you? And I was like, oh, that's the dude I told you, his other guitarist. He's like, you didn't tell me there's gonna be another guitarist. And he pulls this whole pissy fit, and so I'm sitting there arguing with him, fighting about it, and then Billy's like, no, it's cool, man, it's cool. I won't play. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's cool. Billy used to be a really nice guy, and I haven't talked to him in a while. He might still be a nice guy, but he's like, it's cool, man. It's cool.
I thought
he doesn't like confrontation, so he was like, it's cool, man. It's cool. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so Billy didn't play that night, although he should have, and he was supposed to. And Jason played, and I've never seen Jason again since then. I've never seen or heard from him again after that. But
wow.
Yeah, because afterwards we got into it again, and I was like, dude, that wasn't cool. I was like, and me and him got into a big argument about it. Never heard from him since then. But then me and Billy we're gonna do a new thing called Gourmet. I actually have a cassette with 3 songs that Billy wrote with some riffs for Gourmet. What? I've still got it over there. I keep everything, man. I keep everything. But wow. Yeah.
Well, sounds like a reunion is in order, man. Fucking Spinal Remains.
I don't know. I don't think Billy's. I think he doesn't like me much anymore. But I don't know.
Yeah, Billy likes everybody. Okay. I'll send him a text after. I say, hey, Spinal Remains reunion, the show you never got to play. Let's do it.
Are you gonna play drums?
Yeah, I'll play drums. Fuck it, why not? Let's do it.
All right.
Spinal Remains reunion happening right now, but so that's cool. You know what? I remember hearing about this show because I remember those bands from Dallas, Crucifix and Gruesome Fate, and I think Absu was supposed to play that, right?
I don't remember Absu supposed to be on it, but
okay.
Well, I know. We were the first band. Yeah. And we went to Taco Bell. This is back whenever Taco Bell had their menu where you could buy tacos and burritos for 49 cents. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually,
long time ago.
I was waiting to bring that up, but yeah, this Dak said to ask you about the Taco Bell massacre.
So we went to Taco Bell and bought something like $25 worth of 39-cent burritos and tacos. Plus, it was Valentine's Day, so I bought a heart with chocolates in it and stuff, and a whole bunch of other shit. We took it up there, and so we started playing, and I had a bunch of people on stage. I was like, we're gonna start a fucking food fight with the crowd, And so we started playing, and the people on stage just start belting the crowd with all this like bean burritos, and tacos, and other. We'd brought some other food too, and then they started throwing it back at us, and we just destroyed the Axiom. People were slipping on bean burritos all night whenever they're in the pit and shit.
That sounds like a song. Sounds like a song title. Slipping on bean burritos.
I had written a cover of Altar of Sacrifice by Slayer called Food Fight at the Altar of Sacrifice. Food Fight at the Altar of Sacrifice, where they're going to sacrifice the woman, and they have the food, the food and the wine and all, and they get into a food fight instead of killing the woman. And so that was going to start off like Altar of Sacrifice and then go into like a grind song. But so that was where all that kind of came from. We did 2 covers that night too. We covered the Boneless Ones, Skate for the Devil, and Bathory Equimanthorn that night.
It's funny that you mentioned the Boneless Ones because Charles brought them up. Apparently they're back together. Did you know that?
I saw their album has just been reissued by somebody. Might have been Boss Tunage or Punk. I don't know. Charles, somebody just reissued their album.
Yeah, that's that guy that
was a good album.
The guy that was in Attitude Adjustment, Chris Contos, I think.
Maybe
the drummer, yeah.
We covered Skate for the Devil at that show. By them.
That's cool. Caca Bell.
I remember this girl sitting on the stage. This is the only thing I remember from that show, other than pelting the crowd with food. There's this girl on the stage in a Deicide shirt, and the last song we played. Well, the second to the last song we played was Equimanthor, and I was like, all right, song probably none of you know since y'all listen to fucking Deicide like you, and I pointed at her, and she got mad and flipped me off and left. And then we went into Bathory Equimanthor.
Wow.
And
all right, so,
that's the only thing I really remember from the show.
All right, so here's a I don't know if Ruben's still, he's still here, but so let me bring up the photo. Back, I guess to kind of preface it or whatever, back in, if anybody is old enough to remember the Matamoros like cult killings of the UT student students that were on
Mark Kilroy.
Spring break. What was that? 89?
It was Mark Kilroy they killed.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, but what year was that? It was 89, right? I'm trying to remember. Whenever
I think it was. Yeah, I believe it was 89.
So anyway, so there was if just to kind of give people an idea of what was going on at the time, there was in like spring break 89. We'll say it's 89. There was some students that went across to Mexico and ended up getting killed by supposed satanic cult led by
they were
Adolfo. Oh, well, yeah.
Adolfo Constanza. It was a satanic drug cult. It was a cartel. They mostly killed Mexicans. I mean, they'd killed a ton of people before that.
Yeah.
But it was all Mexican. It was all Mexicans they killed, so no one in the U.S. gave a fuck. It's like, oh, it's Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
But they kill a white boy, and now it's a big deal, right? So
right. So Adolfo Costanzo was like the cult leader, and then there was was it the Sarah Aldrete, right?
So that was like his girlfriend.
Yeah. So this was like worldwide news. It was all over the place or whatever. So. All right, so I guess from there you can kind of pick up the story from there.
Well, I think they raided the I don't remember what they called themselves, but it was the Matamoros. They raided their cartel, and they caught a bunch. They scattered, but Adolfo Constanza got away. So they were looking for him everywhere. They were like, he's probably in Texas. Look out for this guy. We want to find this guy. He's public enemy number one. America's most wanted. And so coinciding with this, I had sent a package of flyers and maybe some other stuff to Tony from the band Fatal in Michigan. So on the outside of this package, glued all these pictures from Fangoria magazine of like, from horror movies like Day of the Dead and stuff with guts and stuff. And I'd written stuff. I'd copied off of the Carcass album. So, this package contains one dislocated anal tract. It's full of bile and chyme and I'd written like die Christians backwards on it and stuff. So I sent it to him. So I get a knock at my door one day. I'm asleep. And it's the FBI.
It's the what?
And you broke up? It's the FBI.
Okay, there we go.
And so they come in, and she's like, did you send the package? And I put my return address on it like a dumbass. Oh. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I just want to tell you that this package got to Michigan. For some reason, the Conroe postmaster let it go through. It got to Michigan. The people, the Michigan would not allow it into their state. They sent it to the White House, and your congressman got it. And I think his name was Joe Barton. He was like, your congressman once said that you should be lynched. And I was like, wow. I'm like 17 years old. Like, your congressman, or maybe I was 18. He's like, yeah, your congressman, because of this, said you should be lynched. And I was like, Jesus. I was like, oh, so I'm like, holy shit. All right. So coincidentally, things happened at the same time. This is whenever George Herbert Walker Bush was president, who I didn't care much for. So I had summer, you get the tree roaches. So there's this kind of roach spray that they probably took off the market because it probably killed people or something. But if you would spray it, it would make all the roaches run out in the middle of the floor and die. So I scraped up a bunch of roaches and sent it to George H. Walker Bush, care of the White House. I mailed him some roaches. I was smart enough not to put a return address on that.
On that one, yeah.
I didn't put a return address on that. But also at the same time, Ruben from Splatteria had been he had been putting his name on letters as Adolfo Constanzo. Whenever he would write somebody, he would put Adolfo Constanzo. So I wrote him, and I wrote Adolfo Constanzo as the person I was writing to. And so they pulled that out, and they're like, "Are you involved with him?" And I was like, "Oh, that's not the real Adolfo Constanzo." They're like, "Well, who is this?" And I was like, "I don't know, some dude." And you're like, "No." He's like, "How do you know this guy?" I was like, "I don't really. I just he's in a band or something." And they were like, we want to know about it too. They're like, you're probably you're in a lot of trouble, and we need to find out this guy because he's in a lot of trouble too. And I was like, man, we're just dumb kids. Basically, I was like, we're just dumb kids goofing around. And then asked me about the letter. They were like, now we're very suspicious about this. Did you send this? And I was like, no. I don't know anything about that. Somebody sent they just had the letter. It was open. None of the roaches were in it, but they had the actual envelope. And they were like, somebody from your zip code in this area sent this to George, the president at the. What do you know about this? I don't know anything about that. I have no idea what that is. I've never seen that before. It's like,
holy shit.
So they harassed me for a couple hours, and then she gave me her card. The one of them, it was two of them. She gave me her card, and she was like, if you can tell me anything about this Adolfo Constanza guy that you've been writing, you give me a call. And I was like, okay, I will.
So Adolfo was Ruben. That's fucking great. So how long was the FBI, like, how long did they hound you, or did they question you?
They were at the house maybe 2 hours.
Really?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that was a long time ago. But yeah, they were there for a while, and they
didn't bother you.
I never heard from them again after. I never heard again after that. But people I sent letters to and stuff, would say that it took a lot longer for them to get my letters, and some of them looked like they'd been opened and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ruben told me that the same thing happened to him. That it's like they finally figured out who he was, and they were messing with his mail too. I think he told me that.
Yeah, I think he's told me you gave him the card. You gave him the card, right? Did you give him the card that the FBI people gave you?
I think I did. I think I did give him the card. Yeah.
And knowing Ruben, he probably still has it.
He might. Yeah.
He's a pack rat too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I mean, I've heard this story, but it just never gets old because that's just fucking insane. Fucking Ruben had
the best part about it all,
to put hopefully he was still on the run. They didn't know where he was at.
Yeah, they were looking
like,
for. They were still.
They were looking for him.
He was like public enemy number one. Well, my thought, what I told them was I was like, do you really think he would write his name?
Yeah,
on a letter he's sending people when he's public enemy number one. What's really funny about that is, I lived in Conroe, little city, little redneck city. The Conroe Courier the next day, the headlines of the Conroe Courier was "Death Metal Music Mail Sparks Satanic Scare." Evidently, this sparked like this big,
Here it is,
like
right
satanic. The city thought the Satanists. Yeah, the city thought the Satanists were here.
Yeah. Let me read this for everybody's. And Ruben lived happily ever after. All right, so let me read this. This is from the Conroe Courier. If you know, Conroe is what, like 45 minutes north of Houston, right? Roughly 30 minutes,
right,
something like that. So it's just basically, north of Houston. So this was in the paper. Death metal music mail sparks satanic scare. Postal inspectors interviewed a 19-year-old Conroe man in his. They even put your street name. They put your street name.
Yeah.
With several letters delivered to and sent from the home with pictures of mutilated bodies on the outside of the envelopes, as you mentioned. Local postal employees dissatisfied with the Conroe postmaster's directive to deliver the material, contacted Congressman Joe Barton's office to request a full-scale investigation. The employees were concerned the material might fall into the hands of children and feared the sender was involved with the type of satanic cult responsible for the death of University of Texas student Mark Gilroy in Matamoros, Mexico. The inspector, Judith K. Groom, said Friday the letters were sent by stupid kids. I guess they quoted you. Is that right? Are you the one that's... And were not in any way connected with the drug cult murders in Mexico. It involves 19-year-old kids, and the offensive words are grindcore death metal music, perhaps with a touch of black metal. But not much. Just a touch. Just not much. She further explained that grindcore death metal musicians, such as the Conroe youth claims to be, are involved in sending letters all over the United States with the intention of grossing each other out. Groom and another postal inspector, whom have the equivalent authority to the FBI, came to Conroe Friday and warned the youth to immediately halt that type of correspondence, she said. Groom also said the Conroe postal workers did not follow the proper procedure, blah, blah, blah. So that's fucking great.
Later on in there somewhere it talks about how they got the drug enforcement edition, all these other people involved. It was weird. Of course, back then no one, death metal was not like now everybody knows death metal. Back then in 1990, whenever that was, death metal was like, what is it? Most people had no idea what it was. They're like, they knew what metal was, they didn't know what death metal was. Like your average citizen, especially some redneck city like Conroe back then, they were like, what in the fuck,
So
these Satanists is here, they're coming for our children.
Yeah, exactly. So what did your parents or relatives or anybody what was their reaction?
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't talk to my dad in like probably 10 years at that point, but my mom,
Okay.
I lived with her. It was her house they came to. So she was very upset.
Oh my goodness. Damn it to hell, Jason. Ah, shit. Oh man, that's fucking amazing, dude. That's fucking amazing. And Ruben still has a card. I need to get Ruben. You need to send me a picture of that card. I got to see that. Uh, oh yeah, my buddy Richard used to have a little something called Homicidal Enterprises, and they used to fuck with him about it. Andy Jones. Look at Andy Jones. The Flim's own Andy Jones.
Oh, Flim. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got their demo and their 7-inch.
Fraser, what do you mean you still have the magazine? What does that mean? I don't know what Fraser's talking about. But yeah, that's
Maybe
classic.
You're talking about GODVOMIT? Fraser's like 40 minutes behind.
Yeah, he is. He's on dial-up. Oh, shit. But yeah, man, of course, we had to talk about that. That's just fucking classic. All right, so let's get into KPFT. When was the first time you started going up to KPFT and hanging out with Wes and Bill?
Well, I first started. First show I ever went to was the Funhouse show with Chuck Roast, who runs Vinyl Edge Records.
Yeah.
He did like a punk, industrial, hardcore, all kinds of music show.
Yeah, he did the.
So I was going up there.
Toy Chest, or what was it called?
Funhouse.
Okay, yeah.
Funhouse show. Yeah. Presumably after the Stooges album. I don't know.
Stooges, yeah.
But
yeah.
Funhouse. So I would take stuff up there for him to play that he didn't have, like Exit 13. I remember their album up there, stuff like that. For him to play. I guess Exit 13 probably would have been a little bit later on. I did take stuff up there earlier too. Pissed Happy Children, taking that up there for him to play back in the late 80s. So I started going up there, and then I met Wes and Bill at shows, I guess, and I started donating to Sweet Nightmares, donating a little bit of money. I was a teenager. I didn't have a lot of money. I donated a bit of money.
Oh, yeah.
And
pledge drives.
Then they had like something where you donated a certain amount of money, you could come down and do a guest DJ spot or something like that. So I got up, I saved up the money and donated it, and I went down there and I did a set of music with them. The stuff that mostly stuff they put some stuff in too that they wanted to play, but I played a bunch of stuff that I brought with me, and there's an interview with Exit 13 in the first GODVOMIT magazine too. But anyway, so I brought some stuff there, and I guess I ended up doing a couple of sets, and Wes really liked me. Like, he's a really cool dude. And so I just kind of started coming down there and bringing stuff every once in a while, records to play. And then, of course, when the Spinal Remains demo came out, I took it up there and gave them a copy, and we played it. And so I just go down there every once in a while and bring records that they didn't have, or demos or, stuff like that they didn't have to play, and I would play it. That very first set I ever did, after I donated that money, I actually I had a tape of that, and I digitized it and played Dead Time for Wes Weaver's Memorial Dead Time Radio Show episode that I did. You can still download that. But it's the only time Metallica's ever been played on Dead Time, because I won't play Metallica, but I played that set, and Wes played Metallica in that set. He played the Small Hours, and I was like, well, I'm not going to put it out, man. I'm going to leave the integrity of the set solid. But
well, at least it was a cover.
But yeah, so that was yeah.
So yeah, I remember. I remember. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I remember. I just remember you coming on and playing more like hardcore stuff, because they were playing. They were playing death metal.
That came on. that
Go
came
ahead.
after Funhouse. After Chuck decided to stop doing Funhouse.
Yeah.
And I told Wes, and this is back whenever Sweet Nightmares was like 5 or 6 hours. It was the entire night. And Wes and I was like, it's a bummer that Funhouse is gone. And Wes is like, well, why don't I come up and do some punk for an hour in the middle of the show?
Yeah.
I guess it was 5 hours because there were 2 hours of Sweet Nightmares, 1 hour of hardcore I did, and then 2 more hours of Sweet Nightmares after me.
Yep.
So and then I would bring other stuff for them to play on the Sweet Nightmare, the metal portions too that I had that they didn't have. And so yeah, that's how that got started. So that was probably from maybe around 92 to probably about 96 that I did that little portion of the show. And it was me, Wes, and Bill that did the Sweet Nightmares portions. And then Wes would usually go outside or go do something, and me and Bill would kind of do the middle portion. And I had some people that came down with me. Dave from Greedo Dave. Ben Greedo, yes, Hockey Mask Dave. Yeah, so he came down with me and did the show with me for a while. And this Tobin also did it for a little while with me. But the show, like I say, it went for several years.
Oh yeah.
And Greedo Dave is in my new band. He played guitar in my band Tumorhead now.
Oh yeah. Yep. Now this is a play. What is this we're looking at? Is it a playlist of a certain day, or was it stuff you got to get in, or what?
No. That is the top played albums of 1991.
Oh, okay. On your program. On your program only, right?
Sweet Nightmares. Yeah, that's not including any of my hardcore stuff because that was 1991 and the hardcore set started in 92. So this is stuff that I brought down and that they did. Which, looking at this, I'm not sure what of this would have been something I brought down.
Was the most played. Wow.
Yeah, man, they love that. It's a good album. I don't know if I would make it my most played thing, but
I don't.
And of course, number two there, man. Number 2, I fucking hated that album. I had nothing to do with Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption. That album came out, and I was like, that's it. No more Napalm Death for me, man.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of just like a lot of people, including me, and I think I've mentioned it before on the show. I had to, the reception way down here wasn't that great, so I'd have to fucking figure out a way to, fix the antenna, put the whole fucking aluminum foil on it just to get clear reception. That way I'd be ready to record something or whatever. But a lot of people used to stay up because it was on a Tuesday night, right? Yeah, Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
If I remember. Yeah, Tuesday nights. And so this is cool. How much of this stuff do you still have? Like of these type of like playlists or whatever? Do you still have a lot of this shit?
I have written down in notebooks every single playlist from Sweet Nightmares from 1997 till the very last show, September of 1999.
Damn. Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So I just, every time I drove there, I would write down everything we played.
I don't remember you guys playing Blasphemy that much. Apparently you did.
That year, I guess we did. I mean, and that album, that album was okay. The demo tape was the shit for me for Blasphemy. That album was good, but I really love that demo tape. We played the fuck out of that demo tape. I used to bring it down there before that album came out.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to look back
that Immolation.
Oh yeah.
That Immolation definitely should have been higher on that list, man.
Autopsies up there.
Immolation was the Immolation was the first album that I ever made the thanks list on, that Dawn of Possession album. So that's a special one for me, besides it just being a badass album. Yeah, well, Autopsy.
You know what else?
That's Mental Funeral. I love. What?
Yeah. The Elias demo. It's 14. Yeah.
Well, Elias is one of the two. Elias is one of the two bands that actually played live on Sweet Nightmares.
Hey, I'm glad you bring that up, man. I just so happen to have
Elias and Dead Horse.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go, right here. So were you there for that Dead Horse? I remember listening to it. Were you there
Yep,
when that was going
I
on
was
in the
there.
studio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talk about this.
Yep.
I remember listening to this on the show. I think this was one of those ones that are like I taped and like because it was fucking Tuesday and I was in high school or whatever. So uh, so
Right.
Dead Horse played live, right? On the. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yep. Well, Dead Horse was a big time friends of the show. I mean, Dead Horse, Horsecore is such a great album. When that album came out, I was just like, whoa. I was like, this album sounds like what would happen if you cross Slayer with old DRI. This is badass. And so I got it. I got to be friends with all the bands, and then later on, they came out with Peaceful Death, and I liked that album a lot. But yeah, they were close friends to Wes and Bill and me, especially. I was real buddies with Greg in particular. But they did some benefit shows for KPFT for Sweet Nightmares, and they came up and we set them up in the next room over just with some regular microphones, and they played. I don't remember how many songs they played. They played probably.
They played four.
I remember that.
They played 14 songs. I know because
14?
somebody just I think it's 14. Somebody just hooked me up with that actual set. Send it to me today.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So
yeah.
it was
and I remember Bill Bates.
Yeah.
They were gonna play they were gonna do Overkill, cover of Overkill, and Bill Bates was gonna do vocals. But they for some reason you couldn't hear him. And so Mike got on the mic. He was like, during the chorus, Mike's like, "You can't hear Bill Bates. You can't hear Bill Bates. That's the way I like it, baby."
Shit. Actually, you know what? Let me look through it real quick. I can tell you from what I have here. They did Scottish. Yeah, I have 14. Scottish Hell, Subhumanity. They did Communication Breakdown. You remember that?
Yeah.
Turn, Sawbone, Eulogy, Ace of Spades, Aplo, Medulla Oblongata, Forgive, French Fry, World War, whatever, Peaceful Death, and Hank. So that was set list for that. But
and I remember he wasn't sure if he could curse. So during Medulla Oblongata, instead of saying "life just fucks with my head," I think he said "life just farts on my head." Afterwards, Wes was like, "No, Wes was like, it's KPFT. You can cuss. It's okay." He was like, "Shit."
Yeah, it was a loose set. You know what I mean? So they were having fun. So, like I said, I hadn't heard it since then until like I listened to some of it today. It's crazy.
But yeah, so Elias also played in the studio like that. Elias, I don't remember if Elias did it after. I think they did it after Dead Horse later on.
Yeah. And this is Mike Haga artwork he did for him too on this flyer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Yank. Oh, apparently you can't cuss on KPFT anymore. Is that true?
Jason, yeah, you're not supposed to. The new GM doesn't want none of that stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I know. I never really cussed myself, but I never really cussed myself. But I would play songs that had lots of curse words in them. But he called me up and yelled at me. The GM called me personally because I played Revolting Cocks, Beers, Steers, and Queers, and he was like, this is not, blah. And he got on to me about it. So I guess we're not supposed to, but I haven't really been that careful.
All right,
we'll see. Maybe I'll get kicked. Maybe I'll get kicked off, and there won't be no more dead time on KPFT.
That's right. So those of you outside of Houston, this is Bill Bates on the left and Wes Weaver. They were the ones that did the Sweet Nightmares radio program. And unfortunately, both of them have passed, which is fucking still unbelievable to even think about or imagine. But you want to share anything about working or I'd say working, but you know what I mean with Wes and Bill, and any stories you have of them.
Well, I mean, I think most people around the Houston scene know Wes and Bill. They were they were cool dudes, man. Bill passed away in early 2016 after, I don't know, man. He had a lot of health issues, and they really started coming down on him down at the end there. The last he was in the hospital for like a year. He went to he went to the King Diamond show, sick as fuck, and then right after that went to the hospital. So that's how metal Bill was. He postponed going to the hospital to go see King Diamond, and and then he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital, and then they were like, "You can't leave. You're sick." And Bill was like, "Fuck you. I'm leaving. I've had it with this." And he called Frazier, and Frazier went and broke him out of the hospital.
Wait, what? Frazier did?
Yeah, Frazier broke him out of the fucking hospital.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And then Bill put on 2 shows. He put on like a couple of insecticide shows.
Oh yeah, I was at that one. Yeah.
Yep. And then right after that is whenever he passed away. And Wes, of course, we just lost him earlier this year.
Yeah.
From, I guess, a heart attack, and that was terrible.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I did Sweet Nightmares at first with Wes and Bill, and then Bill left Sweet Nightmares right around 1996, and he got his own show, which he called Ejacula.
Yeah.
And so what happened was you had Sweet Nightmares for 3 hours, and then Ejacula for 2 hours afterwards. So I did Sweet Nightmares with Wes, and then I stayed and did Ejacula with Bill. So Sweet Nightmares was an extreme metal show. We did not play Judas Priest. We didn't play Black Sabbath. We didn't play Megadeth. We didn't play Metallica. During the '90s, we did in the early days. They played some of that stuff. That was before me. Whenever I was on it, it was extreme. It was black metal, death metal, thrash metal, speed metal. It was all extreme stuff. Afterwards, Bill's show Ejacula, we did most of the forms of metal. We didn't do glam, but we would do like stuff like Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, and we also did punk. We did hardcore. We did some industrial, like it was like kind of metally industrial, like. And so I did those 2 shows with those guys, and then Sweet Nightmares was canceled in 1999 September, and so Bill's show went from 2 hours to 3 hours and got a better time slot. And I stayed with Bill on that show, and Wes went over to K-True and started doing From the Depths.
Yep, I remember.
Which From the Depths sounded pretty much exactly like Sweet Nightmares. It was just extreme metal, and Ejacula was about the same. So Ejacula changed names at one time to Audio Friction for a while, then back to Ejacula. But then I started going down to K-True around 2001 and doing From the Depths with Wes. So then I was doing Ejacula with Bill and From the Depths with Wes. So so I was on both shows with both of them again. And then finally I got Dead Time in 2005. And so at that time, Bill changed the name of Ejacula to Sweet Nightmares. And me and Wes were both like, don't do that, man. Because I had left. Wes was doing his own thing. I was like, don't do that, man. It's not going to be the same. It's like, unless you play the same kind of music they played on Sweet Nightmares, don't change the name to Sweet Nightmares. And he was like, no. And he was like, well, I really want to call it Mixed Metal Arts, which is also, I didn't like that name either, but I was like, oh yeah, go with that. And but I guess he had a bunch of people that were hanging out with him that used to be into Sweet Nightmares back in the 90s. It was like they grew up and Sweet Nightmares was a big deal, and they were kind of pushing him to be like, no, we want to be a part of Sweet Nightmares, bring it back. So he brought it back, I guess, I don't know, for them or whatever. So Sweet Nightmares came back, and it was Bill and kind of a revolving line of different people. There were some really cool people. Slatanic Sal was on that, and this guy, I think his name was Crucio. He was really cool. Of course, Herman took it over later, but I was doing Dead Time, and then I was going over and doing From the Depths with Wes, and so I would only come up and do Sweet Nightmares whenever Bill was sick or couldn't make it. I would go up there and do it. And every once in a while I'd show up, but I would send him stuff. I would like record him like CDs, but like, okay, you need to be playing this. This is like when the new Autopsy came out. I was like, you got to play this. You know, I would record him CDs and give them to him to play on the show. So I did still have a little bit of influence, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how all that went. And then of course he got sick, and Herman took over. And then Herman, they had the hurricane and messed up his house, so he had to move away. And so he got Brian, DJ Metal Lord from Nuclear Rock Radio, took over, and he's doing Sweet Nightmares now. So Sweet Nightmares now, it doesn't really sound exactly like it used to sound whenever I was on it, because Bill kind of made it a little more commercial, a little not as heavy, and then Herman made it even more commercial. He was even playing some stuff like really bad, like Five Finger Death Punch, like horrible stuff. And then then Brian came on, and yeah, he was playing like Zach Wild's, what's his stupid band, Black Label Society. He's playing stuff like that even. And I was like, Herman, why are you fucking playing on Sweet Nightmares? And he was like, dude, they won a Grammy. I was like, that's an exact reason to not fucking play that shit. You don't want to play a band that won a Grammy on Sweet Nightmares. But they didn't listen to me. And then Brian took over, and he doesn't play like that Five Finger Death Punch and shit like that anymore. But he does play, like, he's more into doing a lot of hard rock and stuff. He'll do like Crocus and even like old Def Leppard and stuff. So the show has really progressed. It's evolved over the years from what it used to be. Whenever I was part of it, it was mainly a extreme metal show.
Oh yeah, I remember. Well, I mean, whoever hosts it, is gonna play whatever.
Kind of bring their own flavor. Kind of bring their own flavor. You can't. Well, I mean, Brian knows. He knows that he can't play. He knows what he can't play. He pushes the boundary a little bit, just to get his own flavor in. But he also, he's like, well, I want to respect the sound of the show. So he's not like just playing anything. He plays he stays within the lines for the most part. And then my show I do, Dead Time, is a lot closer to the old Funhouse show. Yeah, I do mostly hardcore, punk, grindcore. What are they? Power violence, I guess they call it. Straight edge, horror punk, thrash. Used to, before I was on after Sweet Nightmares, I didn't do as much metal. Now I'll do a little bit more metal, a little bit more thrash, a little bit more crossover. I even played Grave the other day. Every once in a while I'll play something like that. And then I also do
how can people like listen to Dead Time? Anybody that listens to or is interested in listening to your show?
It comes on at 2 a.m. Central Time on 90.1 FM or on kpft.org right after Sweet Nightmares. So if you listen to Sweet Nightmares, you can listen to Sweet Nightmares and then listen to Dead Time afterwards.
kpft.org. But are the shows available? Like, are they like archived or something? Or if I want to
2 weeks worth are archived on the KPFT website, and then you can go on you can go on the Dead Time Facebook. Just go to Facebook and type in DEADTHYME. And I have all my playlists on there. You can see what kind of stuff I play. And I also post the listen links. And sometimes whenever the station screws the show up, I'll actually fix it and put it up for download instead of you going and listening to it on the station. So those shows, like the Wes Weaver tribute show, I did an extra hour worth of stuff and I put it up for download. You can go download that now, even though it aired back, right after he passed away. You can go download that and listen to it right now. Anytime. It's going to be on there forever. But most of these shows that just come on each week, you can only listen to for 2 weeks afterwards.
Hey, are you on? Can people reach you like on Instagram or anything?
I have an Instagram, but I don't ever go on it or.
Okay, so what's the best way to find like information? I guess just go to kpft.org about the show and search Dead Time or what?
Well, you can go to probably the Facebook, because that'll tell you all my playlists, and I do other stuff on there. I talk about stuff, and sometimes I'll review old like classic records and stuff on there.
It's Facebook.com/Deadtime.
DEADTHYME. Just go into search and type in Dead Time. It's the only place where you can really. I mean, it's the only thing called that, I think.
Okay.
I hope. But yeah, but I warn you, I I also play like industrial and stuff on that show too, and noise, like weird experimental stuff. So some people don't like that stuff. I throw a little bit of that in too.
Yeah, look, Matt, the only place you're going to hear Sore Throats, Not Hell House, and Hatred on Dead.
Yeah, that's true. Who wrote that?
Matt Romero.
Oh, Matt, yeah.
Hey, we already played Spinal Remains. You missed it. I could play another song. Yeah. So check out Jason. Always, I think you always post your playlist, and it's always like, and he doesn't just play like old shit. You're playing new stuff often too.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I would say probably about a third of the show is new stuff. Probably about 2/3 is old stuff.
Do you still do the classic 7-inch full?
Oh yeah, I just posted a list of every 7-inch that I did. I've been doing it since 2006. So
what was the last full 7-inch you played?
Well, it's an EP. I do. It's either 7-inch, 12-inch, some kind of EP. So the last one I did was Alto. Alto from Japan.
Fuck yeah, I like that Alto. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, that band rule. But yeah, I mean,
and if anybody wants to friend me on Facebook, I'm not one of those people that's all scared to friend people. I don't. I get a lot of junk from like scammers and stuff because I'll friend anybody. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. All right. What about Blood Fountain? What's that?
Oh, that was my industrial noise band. Well, it's more industrial. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Industrial, like industrial, like what?
Maybe Skinny Puppy, Godflesh. I mean, there was definitely guitars and stuff in it. I did a lot of samples from extreme metal bands, which back then not that many people were doing. Yeah, like Bolt Thrower and stuff like that.
You need to put that up on YouTube if you have it.
Yeah, I guess I should.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't have the. You can if anybody wants to listen to the you can just search Spinal Remains demo on YouTube. Well, it's the rehearsal.
Yeah,
but you'll still be able.
It sounds pretty close. You'll get the idea.
And go to Tenebrous Aberrations. They're the ones that somebody's gonna unfriend you, Ruben.
Ruben don't have no Facebook.
Yeah. Fuck you, Matt. If you turn your phone sideways, the chat covers Francisco's face. Best way to watch. What a dick. Shit. But anyway, well, man. Last thing. Being Houston. I don't know if you had a time, but your top 5. I know it's a stupid question, but it's top 5 Houston bands or projects
of all time
for you.
Hippie Christians, HRA, Cemeterian, thy feeble savior. No. Kaka. No.
Yeah, Kaka. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you said you were going to ask me that, so I grabbed a few things here for show and tell, I guess.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, I didn't have time to go through all my stuff. But the problem with Houston bands is they'll put out like an amazing release and then they break up. You don't ever hear from them again, or they put out something crappy. So I mean, like Dead Horse. I love Dead Horse. They're a great band. And I love their first 2 albums, but I don't really like their new stuff very much. They kind of became a bunch of Hanks and new stuff not much. I still love those dudes, man.
Let me watch the Dead Horse episode that we did yesterday. If you haven't watched it yet, that was a lot of cool stuff. Check it out.
But let's see. Okay, so here you go. This is one of my favorite Houston records.
Oh hell yeah! I have that.
That's this 7-inch. I like it better than anything else they've ever done. I like their other stuff, but this is my. Let's see. Of course, Paintings.
Oh yeah.
Paintings. Love the Paintings. Interesting, very interesting band. My favorite thing they ever did was the Narcolepsy demo. Let's see what else we got here.
Come on, Carl.
Here you go.
Oh, for some
Fearless
San
Iranians.
Antonio.
Yeah, we got Marching Plague.
Oh man, classic.
Fearless Iranians from Hell. Two great Texas bands that aren't from Houston. But of course, how could we?
Oh yeah,
Definitely one of my favorites. Stark Raving Mad, absolutely excellent.
yep,
Bark Hard, of course.
yep.
Awesome. For metal bands, there's I always liked Chthonic a lot, but I'm trying to think. Splatteria, of course, are classic. There was this band called The Disillusioned. If anybody remembers them, I'm actually digitizing their demo tape to put it up on. All right, this cat's in the way. Come on, kitty. I'm actually digitizing. Yes, I have a bunch of cats. So I'm actually digitizing their demo tape to put up. They played one of my favorite local shows I ever saw on Hallows Eve with Dead Horse. It was Dead Horse, The Disillusioned, Connecticut, called Rude Awakening. He was really good show. So I don't know if you know Texas Punk Treasure Chest. I'm digitizing the Disillusioned demo to put up on that at some point here in the near future. They were a good band, but never went anywhere. Of course, Really Red's great. I got a couple of their albums. I don't have their 7-inch, but there's been so many good Houston bands. Party Owls and Doomsday Massacre, kind of the same dudes. Sick of It All. I mean, Sick Mentality. Sick of It All. Sick Mentality. Yeah. I should have grabbed that 12-inch. That's a great 12-inch. And, those dudes. Some of those dudes came Blind Ignorance. And I didn't really like Blind Ignorance near as much as Sick Mentality, but I saw Sick Mentality open for Suicidal Tendencies at Fitzgerald's. That was a real.
Yeah. I think most of the stuff that you've shown, I've actually played on here. So if anybody's interested in checking out the shit Jason likes, all the Supporting the Scene episodes, there's one where I play a lot of like all Houston stuff, and I've, just to show people Houston bands like Sick Mentality and UIUS and shit like that. So
UIUS, the first album, good too, but I love the first album. And if we're talking about new bands, the new Loose Nukes I really like a lot.
Oh yeah, that was I played their song, a couple of their songs, and people really dug it. Like they never.
And Reason of Insanity, I liked them a lot for like about 10 years ago. Their album that they came out with, I know some of them aren't from Houston and some of them are, but you can kind of consider them Houston, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so last question. What was your favorite place? What was your favorite venue in Houston? Going to shows?
Yeah, the Axiom.
Yeah,
that was basically my teenage years, was living at the Axiom. I saw so many shows there, man. So many shows. Creator and Cryptic Slaughter and The Accused and Voivod and Death and Cro-Mags and Exploited and Sepultura I saw there. Morbid Angel. That place. All the good shows went there.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd say that, but I'm actually trying to get. JR is actually writing a book. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I saw that. I sent him some pictures. I have a shit ton of pictures from the Axiom, all these shows I took. Like I think I sent him some Dr. No pictures and some Fearless Rings from Hell pictures.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I'm gonna have him on here, kind of talk about it a little bit. I don't know where I need to get with him, but he told me some stuff too about Sepultura. Whenever he still has like like how many people actually paid to get in to see that day, and he's got all kinds of crazy shit still left. When
I went and saw Morbid Angel, I was wearing an Immolation shirt, and David Vincent actually come up to me and asked me about it at that show. That's back when David Vincent would walk around and talk to people. And he came up and he was like, "Oh, we played a show with them. They're really good."
Yeah. That was way before his country days.
Yeah, and then Dayglow Abortions. That was a fantastic show.
Wow.
And I remember talking to Bonehead, Jesus Bonehead, before the show.
Yeah.
And I asked him, "Are you going to play Wake Up America?" And he was like, "Oh, we don't really play that song anymore." And I was like, "Dude, that's like a hit here in Houston. They play that on the Funhouse show. Everybody loves that song." And they played it at the like near the end of the show. He was like, "Well, we don't really know this song anymore. We're going to play it for you guys." And they played Wake Up America. That was really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Wake up, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Well, shit, man. This has been fun, Jason. I'm glad you were able to hang out for a little while. Share
Me
some
too.
stories. That fucking everybody tell everybody to check the show out. Listen to Jason's episode. I know everybody loved the fucking FBI story. I mean, and you know, that's classic shit. So you know, appreciate everybody hanging out. You know, don't forget to where to go. Subscribe to the channel. Tell everybody. Look at that. Look at the production value, Jason. Hell yeah, look at that. I mean, come on, man.
That's fantastic. Fantastico Francisco.
God damn. Oh no, I have a new name. My name is Frankie Badass. I'm the host of FTV or something.
Hey, you didn't let Fraser come. You didn't let Fraser come back and ask his question. That's cool.
Oh, he already asked.
Okay.
He already. Yeah, we're okay. He already had enough airtime. He'll be all right.
Yeah. Hey,
Rebuild him.
No, he did good tonight. He looked like he took his meds today. So I guess.
Yeah, he's okay for another show, I guess. So anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Tell everybody about the show again. If we make it to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to have a live band playing on here. I can't say who yet, but there's going to be a live stream of a band playing, and that's going to be fucking cool. So tell everybody about the show. Share this episode. Share all of them. Go back and watch all of them. They've all been fucking great, I think. So, and it has nothing to do with me. It has to do like with people like Jason coming on and you know, sharing stories about, you know, way back when. And I'm going to continue to do so. Getting really close to having an autopsy show on that.
That's my favorite death metal band.
Yeah. Severance. I've mentioned it before. Anybody ask me, where do I go to start with death metal? You go to Autopsy.
Severed Survival, man.
Severed Survival. Start right there and then work your way from there. Just start from that one. Listen to it for a couple of months or something like that. And, you know, and you'll know exactly what death metal is, right? So, all right, cool. Well, again, Jason, thank you. Let me play us. Everyone gets a discount next time at Jason's Deli if they say the word. All right. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out again. Don't forget to, if you like the show, like it, comment, do all that bullshit, and we'll see you on the next one. So let's jam out all bad.
All right.